وارجابك علوم ودور الله اكبر ودور يوم انبيك وخاش هذا اليوم ودور يوم انبيك وخاش هذا اليوم انصابني وايب بيك صابني وايب بيك حاربت الرغد يا ابني وليدي بالنوم وهز مهدك يا جاسم وارجاب علوم ودور يوم انبيك وخاش هذا اليوم صابني وايب بيك صابني وايب بيك صابني وخاش يذخر حكي العازات كبرسي يا وليدي وارجاك من تطلع تجيب الماء زي ما بيمناك تسلان الله 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 شجاك تسلان وايب يا وليدي واسلاك كيف انساياك وايامك يذكرني وبور سني واخرتك يا وليدي وارجاك من تطلع تجيب الماء زي ما وياك تسلان شلون انساك وايامك يذكرن شلون انساك وأيامك يضجر. جينا ننشد كربلاء ضايعينها، جينا ننشد كربلاء ضايعينها، بيها زينب قالوين يا سيري يا سارة ولعلها واحد فزاع يا أبا عبد الله يا سارة ولعلها واحد فزاع عشان حاد ضيعونها ساعي وقطع. جينا ننشد ويانا فاضل وقع ما تدلوني الشريعة وين اوديه يخوف بنزل وين اوديه وتولي وين اوديه يا اخي ما يصير بس شيلها لدار بس اشوفها والعتاب مني صوت الله صوت الحكيم يصير بس اشوفها والعتاب مني يزول وادبو فاضل على النخوة يجود عذر حقه يقول مقطوع الزنود وحال ملك الموت
Helps beat sensitivity fast. Sensodyne Rapid Relief.
حسین لبیک یا حسن المجتبی. السلام علیکم یا علیہ السلام. تمام ناظرین اور سامعین جو دیکھ رہے ہیں اور سن رہے ہیں ان کو میرا سلام یا علی مدد. اس وقت میں موجود ہوں شریفہ بنت امام الحسن المجتبی. آپ میری پرانی ویڈیو بھی دیکھ چکے ہیں اور یہ ویڈیو بھی دیکھیں اور پرانے بینرز بھی دیکھیں اور یہ بینرز دیکھیں. آپ کو ہر روز نیو بینرز ملیں گے. شاکر بھائی یہ کیا ہے؟ یہ امام حسن المجتبی کی شہزادی ہے جو 10 محرم کے دن زخمی ہوئی اور حلہ شہر میں یہاں پر آپ کی شہادت واقع ہوئی اور جن کی آپ کو آج میں زیارت کرانے جا رہا ہوں. عرب کی سرزمین میں ایک واحد ایسی بی بی ہے جن کا روزہ اس طرح بنایا ہوا ہے جہاں پر اتنے لاکھوں مومنین کی حاجت روائی ہوتی ہے. میں نے ابھی تک نہیں سنا کہ بی بی شریفہ کے روزے پہ کسی نے دعا مانگی ہو اور اس کی دعا قبول نہ ہوئی ہو. لوگوں نے اتنے معجزات بتائیں. شاکر بھائی بی بی شریفہ میرے خواب میں آئی اور کہا کہ شاکر علی نے آپ کے لیے دعا کی اور ہم نے آپ کی حاجت روائی کی. اس طرح کی مسلسل میں نے لوگوں کے زبان سے سنی، مومنین مومنات کی زبان سے سنی. بس خدا را اس ویڈیو کو اس میڈیا کی زمانے میں اس کو آپ نے ضائع نہیں ہونے دینی. خدا را مولا حسن کی شہزادی ہے. جو مسلمان بھی اہل بیت عقیدہ رکھتا ہے اس ویڈیو کو آگے ضرور شیئر کریں یا واٹس ایپ اسٹیٹس پہ لگا دیں یا کسی گروپ میں ڈال دیں کہ شاکر بھائی اہل بیت علیہ السلام کے گھرانے کی ایک ویڈیو اور زیارت کرانے جا رہا ہے. میں لائیو آیا ہوں. ہزاروں مومنین کی تمنا تھی کہ شاکر بھائی ایک مرتبہ بی بی شریفہ کے روزے سے لائیو آ جائیں. ہم نے دعا مانگنی ہے. ہمارے پاس حاجتیں ہیں جو بی بی شریفہ سے ہم مانگنا چاہتے ہیں. اہل بیت کا در ہے، کربلا کی شہزادی ہے اور یہاں پہ کوئی دعا رد نہیں ہوتی. دیکھیں میں آپ کو مختلف یہاں پر بینرز وغیرہ دکھاؤں گا جس بینرز میں مختلف نام مختلف چیزیں لکھی ہوئی ہیں جس میں لکھا ہوا ہے. یہ نیا بینر آپ کے سامنے لگے ہوئے ہیں مختلف. وَإِذَا مَرَضْتُ فَهُوَ يَشْفِينِ الحمد للہ وشکر علی کل نعمت وفضل مولاتی دکتورہ علویہ شریفہ. دیکھو انہوں نے اپنے بینر میں بی بی شریفہ کوئی لکھتا ہے کہ بی بی شریفہ حکیمہ یعنی حکیم ہے، حکیمہ ہے. کوئی لکھتا ہے کہ دکتورہ علویہ شریفہ یعنی تم شفائی من مرضی ابو علی العامری. اللہ جانے میں اب کیا کہوں. یہ جو میں اس طرح کے بینرز پڑھتا ہوں میں سختے میں پڑ جاتا ہوں کہ میں کیا مومنین کو بتا رہا ہوں. اللہ کرے مومنین متوجہ ہو جائیں. کوئی ڈاکٹر لکھتا ہے بی بی شریفہ کو تو کوئی حکیم لکھ کے کرتا ہے. اور یہاں پہ یہ ایک اور لگنی اشکر علویہ شریفہ امام الحسن طیبۃ اہل بیت ائمہ و طہار علی شفائی اخی امید من مدینۃ العبدان ایران و وقوف اقدام ہی. وہ اپنے قدموں پہ کھڑا ہو گیا اور بی بی شریفہ کے کرم سے اس کا بینر اور لنگر و نیاز کیا گیا ہے. یہ آپ سوچیں تو صحیح نہیں. ایران کے، عراق کے مختلف کوئی بی بی شریفہ کو طبیبہ کہتا ہے، ڈاکٹر کہتا ہے، کوئی حکیم کہہ کے وہ اس کو لقب سے پکارتا ہے کہ ایسے ایسے معجزات ہیں بی بی شریفہ کے کہ انسان کی عقل دنگ ہو جائے. کسی روزے پر بھی بینرز نہیں دیکھیں گے. میں آپ کو اس وقت لے کے جا رہا ہوں امام حسن کی وہ شہزادی. معجزات بہت زیادہ ہیں عرب کی سرزمین میں. آج ان کی زیارت کرنے کے لیے میں اپنی ایک حاجت لے کر آیا ہوں اور دعا کریں اللہ میری اس حاجت کو پوری کرے اور میں دعا کروں گا اللہ آپ کی حاجتوں کو بھی پورا کرے. الہی آمین. تو چلتے ہیں بی بی شریفہ کی ذریعہ اقدس پہ. یقیناً آپ کے گھر میں کوئی نہ کوئی ایسی پریشانی ہوگی جس میں آپ چاہتے ہوں گے کہ ہم مولا حسین سے یا مولا حسن سے مانگیں یا ان کے بچوں سے. تو اللہ کا در کھلا ہوا ہے حاجتوں کا. اہل بیت علیہ السلام کی جو دروازے ہیں یقیناً وہاں پہ فرشتوں کا آنا جانا ہوتا ہے اور بہترین لوگوں کا آنا جانا ہوتا ہے. جہاں پہ اللہ کی عبادت کی جاتی ہے، رسول اللہ کی نبوت اور رسالت کا پیغام دیا جاتا ہے اور اہل بیت کی یہاں پہ تبلیغ ہوتی ہے. یہ وہ دروازے جہاں پر کوئی دعا رد نہیں ہوتی. اور کربلا والے اللہ اکبر جنہوں نے دین رسول کے لیے اپنی جانیں قربان کی، لاکھوں درود و سلام نواسہ رسول امام حسین پر اور لاکھوں درود و سلام نواسہ رسول اللہ امام حسن المجتبی علیہ السلام پر. یہ در جس میں ابھی آپ کو زیارت کر کے ان بازاروں سے گزرتے ہوئے لے کے جا رہا ہوں पहले इसके पीछे ये बैनर्स लगे हुए थे सारे, इन्होंने बाज़ार वगैरह बना लिया है। अल्लाह करे ये बाज़ारें ख़त्म हो जाएं, एक सहन बने और सीधा रास्ता बीबी की तरफ जाए। इलाही आमीन। लेकिन इस वीडियो को अगर आप व्हाट्सअप स्टेटस पे लगाएंगे और किसी ग्रुप में डाल देंगे कि किसी मोमिन की हाजत रवाई हो जाएगी, और सबसे अच्छी बात है जो दूसरों का सोचें। तो आज बीबी शरीफा बिनते इमाम हसन मुज्तबा की ज़री पर मैं आपको लेके जा रहा हूँ, और जहाँ पर आप सब मिलकर कोई भी अपनी हाजत, कोई भी अपनी परेशानी, क्योंकि मुझे बहुत सारे लोगों ने कहा एक वीडियो बनाएं, बीबी शरीफा को अरसा हो गया नहीं आए, मैं ख़ुद अपनी हाजत लेकर आया हूँ बीबी शरीफा के दर पर, और सबसे पहले आपकी हाजतें तलब करूँगा। जो जो आपकी हाजतें हैं वो आपने बीबी की ज़री देखकर मांग लेनी है। शाकिर भाई, तरीका क्या होता है बीबी शरीफा के मांगने का, हाजत का? तरीका बिल्कुल सिंपल है, अपने दिल से, न दिल से बीबी शरीफा से कहें, बीबी मेरी ये मैं ज़री पे जब मोबाइल करूँ उस वक़्त आप कहें, बीबी आप इमाम हुसैन के साथ थी करबला में, आपने मुसीबतें देखी हैं, बीबी करबला की।
Hey everyone, welcome back to On a Journey with WeWork India. This time we're actually going to be speaking to two sets of entrepreneurs, one that has established a business over time and one that is just starting off on the middle of their growth journey. So today I'm here with both Rashi and Mansi. Rashi runs and has founded Heads Up for Tails, and Mansi has founded Tails. Both of them are in the pet space, and it's an industry that we all know has grown exponentially over the last decade or like 2 decades or so. I think in the early days, the pet care industry was very functional. I remember when I was a kid going to just buy stuff for my dog, you had to go to the vet or, something similar, and you just got the calcium bones and then like basic leashes. That's all that you could, really get. I think the industry's come a long way, and I'm super excited to, have this conversation with both of y'all, learn a little bit. So welcome to both of you guys, and we're gonna keep this as natural and as informal as possible. I also want you guys to, hopefully ask each other some questions and use this time to hopefully learn from each other's stories as well. Something that we see at WeWork is that a large company always wants to act and be like a smaller company because you want to stay nimble and learn from it. And smaller companies obviously trying to become large. So I think that a lot of sharing of knowledge can definitely happen. So welcome. I both the chance to introduce, both of the companies. So Rashi, maybe we can start with you, and just to give, our audience a quick snippet of Heads Up for Tails, the size, and how you kind of started on this journey.
Sure. Thank you so much for having us here, Karan.
Yeah.
It's lovely to be here at WeWorks. And just as a quick introduction, at Heads Up for Tails, we create and curate innovative products and services, and we hope that they bring joy to pets and their families. Currently, we are at 75 stores, and we also have an online presence, so it is an omni-channel company trying to really integrate and build that further. But we've also spent the last 15 years on really creating many new India first products, more than about 200 now. And all of this was inspired by my dog, Sarah. And I couldn't seem to find anything quality worthy of for her. Like you just mentioned, right? It was just really the very basics that were available on the shelves. And so I started out very tiny, homegrown, and it's been quite a journey and a lovely one, I have to say.
Awesome. And congratulations for everything.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Mansi?
So Tails, we are in front of Heads Up for Tail. We are like a small puppy, just starting out. We are like Airbnb for dogs. And
Nice.
so, we keep talking about products, we keep talking about accessories, but we were really struggling to find like quality boarding, and quality information around where to, what services can we use, where do we get these services, walking, daycare, even simple things like, training, grooming, what is puppy biting, very, very small things. I was struggling as a pet parent, and I think that's what got me thinking. That's how the idea of bringing Tails, like starting Tails, came about. Today we are live in 5 metros, and we have about 300 hosts. Lots of happy puppies and lots of happy dogs around us.
Yeah.
We're just starting out. I think we're really inspired by what Heads Up for Tail has done.
That's awesome.
And,
Thank you.
Great. So I think, Heads Up for Tails, obviously the story and the presence is I think more known since, they've been around for so long. So I wanted to understand from you, Mansi, how did you come up with this? I know, when the Airbnb model started, they had so many challenges in, even getting hosts familiar with this or comfortable with, taking some stranger's apartment or like living in a stranger's apartment. I'm sure that it's a very similar challenge that you guys had to face thinking about taking, someone else's dog. Or how did you start, and can you just walk us through some of those stories? Anything
Sure.
funny that came out of that?
Absolutely. So we have tons of those. But so how it started is what usually happens is when you have to leave a dog, if you're not going to a kennel or if you're not going to a big boarding place, you usually go to friends or family.
Right.
So that also happens, right? That was the starting point. So we said, let's formalize that. If we were to formalize it, so there are friends and family or there are people around you who are willing to keep your dog for you. So we kind of formalized that entire thing. And we said, so there are a lot of people who love dogs, but they don't want to take that responsibility, or they don't have the time to keep one full time, right? So let's create a community of people like this. So these are the hosts, right?
Yeah.
So they're not doing this as a profession, or they're not doing this because only for money, right? They're doing this because they love dogs. They want to be around dogs. So we keep getting calls. Can I get puppies? I want a golden retriever. We're like, yes. I want to be around a small Shih Tzu. Is that possible? We're like, yes, we'll do that. As soon as we get a request for a golden retriever, we'll make sure you get that. So you do get a lot of calls like that. While we say that, again, as a pet parent, the biggest concern for us is safety, and the host understands that it comes with a responsibility as well. You're hosting somebody else's baby, literally, right? So just a small number that I was sharing with Rashi earlier as well. We had 7,000 applications to become host, and we've actually only taken 300 live right now. So it's a process for us to vet and make sure that the right kind of people are coming into the community, and they're genuine dog lovers. So I think yes. So yes, if people are interested, and they can absolutely come and join, and if they love dogs, Tails is the place.
So how did you get your first host?
First host, yes, that's interesting. So when we started out, my co-founder was the first host. We listed her house. We said, please start hosting. So a lot of things were the first with her. So like she got a dog snapped. So that was the first for us. How to manage an emergency when a dog snaps. And that can also happen, right? And like, how do you manage pet parents generally? Like how does the meet and greet happen? How do you introduce yourself? Very small things we learned with her. She's like, am I are you testing with me? So and the other, we went live with 30 in Delhi, and we actually visited each host, having tea with them, sharing a meal or something, and then that helped us build the entire process as well. What are we actually looking when we're visiting them? So the first few hosts that went live, we went and we literally visited each place. It was a lot through network, close friends, their relatives and their friends going live on the platform. That's how we went live with our first 30.
Awesome. It's always interesting to hear, an entrepreneur's like grassroots level story, because I think before you have a team, before you have anything, you're kind of doing all of that,
Absolutely.
yourself. So, Rashi, do you remember that time? What were those first for you, and how did you kind of build those initial building blocks that kind of got you here?
I think the first couple of years, Karan, we were trying to establish the very basics. One was the product, the supply chain. None of that existed. No vendors wanted to work with us. They found it a little bit offensive. The industry didn't really exist. Retailers was a challenge. They didn't understand the products we were building. So we had to build out the front end, the back end. But most importantly, we also had to build the customer. 15 years ago, the awareness just wasn't there on why any of this was needed. Lots of dogs were outside the home. A lot of them were tied up at gates, used for guarding purposes. So the relationship was so different, and it's come such a long way, that evolved, the whole evolution of pet owners to pet parents. And so I think that those first few years were literally just building out the basics of the industry and really trying to, test our products and actually build them and release them into the market.
So where did it go from, doing something for your own dog to then realizing, okay, I can now spend the next 15 years doing this, or I want to spend the next 15 years doing this? What was that flip that happened? Or was it like a more gradual...
No, I think that, it was this one specific day when I went to get Sarah a birthday present. It was her first birthday. And I came home empty-handed. I couldn't find anything, not even like a tiny little anything. So I think that was that moment when I realized that I was so sure that there were others like me who wanted to do more for these very, very special family members and didn't have anything. And I just saw it as a white space, but I just literally, I didn't quite think that it would, the dream was very small that time, that how can I do more for Sarah and for a little bit more of the community around me. But, there was a lot of customer love, and there was a lot of excitement and enthusiasm. And then it's taken a long time.
I know, it's crazy now.
Like,
my dog gets a birthday cake, which is, shape that she loves. I have a couple of friends who are, new pet owners, in the sense that they've not had kids, like dogs since since they were kids. So they're at extra level now, where the dog only gets home cooked food that gets frozen or packaged and sent to them every day. So it's definitely moving in a crazy direction. I think sometimes even human kids are not getting as much as some of these dog parents are doing for their dogs and other animals. So it's really interesting. And do you think it's something that was maybe just in the last few years? Have you seen this trend actually happening? It's been 15 years since you've been doing this. So when do you think was the real turning point?
I think since about 2017-18, that's when we started to really see the momentum pick up a little bit. Until then, it was really quite a struggle. And that's when we also decided to sort of take bigger chances, open more stores, go into, stronger, more prime locations. But still, Karan, a lot of what we are talking about is really the top end of the pyramid. There is a lot below that is still, where there's very little awareness of how we can help our pets live their best lives. And I think that's what we're really trying to get out there and change mindsets, help with education, help with consultations, not just, sell, but I think that's really where we see a lot of the magic still waiting to happen.
Right. So a lot more to...
A lot of work to be done.
Lot more to do, for sure.
Yes.
Just to sort of double click on both of your learnings in this industry. You've been doing this for a year now, and obviously Rashi for a little bit longer. what do you see as some of the biggest like bright stars, you know, that's happening, and then changes that are happening, and maybe what are some of the things that you see that are, you know, need a lot more of our attention, or, you know, hopefully your attention to help fix?
As Rashi mentioned, right, for my grandparents, the dog was outside the house.
Right.
For my parents, the dog was in the house. For me, he's on the recliner.
Yeah.
Right, that's the change.
Yeah.
And that's the bright star. What needs work is, I think, as again Rashi mentioned, there is so much of awareness that needs to be done. Even simple things like vaccinations, for us, when we are offering services, that's like the basic, right? You need the vaccinations. We are struggling with that as well.
Mm-hmm.
To build awareness around the fact that how do you take care of your dog? There's just so much work that needs to be done. And I keep joking with my co-founders that just like the babies outside India don't cry, the dogs also don't bark. and we're not even talking about training in India, right? So yeah, I mean, I think all these aspects, there's just so much that needs to be done.
Yeah.
It's like an open field.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Rashi, what about you?
I think for me, just I agree with Mansi, just that, you know, they're on the recliners and in our beds, and they have become such a core part of family.
Yeah.
Right? For somebody, the dog is a sibling. For somebody, they're a child. For somebody, you know, a really special friend or a companion. And they've taken on all of these roles. In societies which are, you know, moving very fast, so much urbanization, there is still loneliness, there is stress, there is all of these things happening. You know, kids, lots of couples are choosing not to have children.
Yeah.
And I think that I'm very happy to see that people are just discovering the magic of being able to share their homes and family and their lives with animals. I mean, it's just so special. You know how much they bring to our lives.
Yeah.
And I think that, you know, they really deserve all that we're doing and so much more in terms of just helping them live their best lives, because I don't know if we're doing it all right. You know, they're in small apartments, they don't have enough open spaces or time to just be dogs or cats. And I hope that, you know, I hope that a lot of this education and awareness can change that, because they really do deserve the absolute best.
1000%.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no better feeling when you like walk, you know, come home, either from traveling or, you know, from just the office, and then you know, just get abundance of love. When you, you know, Rashi, were looking at scale or trying to sort of like move from, you know, single store to all the stores that you guys, 75 stores, I think that you said now, how did that, you know, happen? I believe you started online, you know, before you even had the physical store. So can you just walk us through some of that?
Yes, absolutely. So we started online in 2008, but there was no discoverability. There was no one searching for any of the products that we were trying to make. And we realized that, you know, because it was such a new industry, all the products were India first, we had to be able to have physical locations where people may come in looking for the basics. And then we're able to offer them and educate them on so many more things that actually are useful. And so, you know, with our first couple of stores, we really just experimented with size and, you know, categories and how to sell and display and all of that. Again, it was completely new, you know, as a learning, as an industry for us. And we stumbled so much from even going from 1 to 2 stores, 2 to 3, right? Not being able to find people, because the pet industry really wasn't considered, you know, anything to do with career growth. It was still, you know, so new. So really trying to get people from scratch and train them and convince them that, listen, this is a good space to be in. And then just learn so much for ourselves. But I think that we wanted to do something different. A lot of the pet stores that I had been visiting, they were not, I mean, many a times I wouldn't even go inside. I'd just ask for maybe a bag of something from outside.
Right.
And so I think we just wanted to create something different where your pet came shopping with you, could try things, could see what's what's exciting him or her.
And I think, I mean, you also lived abroad, right? In Singapore. So did that have any influence on, the gap that you saw, then finally like the change that you wanted to make?
Not in terms of pet stores. I think Singapore also has a lot of potential. They still also have sort of old format pet stores. But I think in general, Singapore is so far ahead on retail experience. Like their retail is absolutely phenomenal, the whole experience of it all. So I think I was definitely inspired by how nicely they do it and how well it's kept and what a pleasant experience it is. So I'm sure that, subconsciously a lot of that came into whatever I could bring in did come into some of our stores to say, how do we really make this more welcoming and a happier place?
And I think also just what you've done amazingly is you created a brand around it. I think that also definitely shouldn't go unnoticed. It's very hard to create a brand that everyone firstly recalls, and then you trust and can sort of identify as I would say in India, maybe even like it's definitely the category defining type of brand. If I think about a pet store, that's the first thing that sort of like pops up in my head. What do you think was the secret or like success around that? Do you think the physical stores finally ended up being the catapult to making people aware of the brand?
I don't know if it was any one thing, but I do know that all of my team and I have approached it with a lot of sincerity, with a lot of honesty, with just that one principle that how do we do the best for our pets? Whether it was any kind of product, whether it was any kind of advice, whether it was us learning with the, through nutritionists and groomers and trainers and behaviorists about what is going on in the world, how is it evolving, what are we doing, and how can we really bring this to the business. So I think that brand is really about trust, and we've just really been trying to build it one day at a time, whole heart. There wasn't much, we weren't like marketeers or anyone with that kind of a background, but it's just a lot more than just a business for us. And I still feel like we've come a long way, but there's such a long way to go. So I hope that we can just keep that.
So okay, tell me, what does that look like when you like shut your eyes and you're like 15 years fast forward from here, or whatever that time period is? What does it look like to you?
I want have to be a global brand.
You want to be a global brand? That's
across
incredible.
The world. Because even when I travel, honestly, Karan, I just feel like there is so much that we're still so far ahead of in the market that we still have to sort of really like the market still needs to catch up. So
when is that happening? When is the first international store?
I hope next year.
Oh really?
Wow. Yes.
Wow, amazing.
Yeah.
And where?
We're thinking of Southeast Asia at the moment.
Okay.
But let's see what life has in store.
That's incredible. I hope to